We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
The game is in bad shape. It's looking real sad. Lamont Roach still crying and complaining that Tank didn't pay him step-aside money. In this video, your boy Ego, I'm going to take you through it and we're going to go over it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. We are in sad times in boxing and I've complained about this for a while. Gen Z, simply put, their boxers, a lot of them are not holding the game down in a positive way. Somebody sent me this article. It says Lamont Roach blasts Gervonta Davis for $40 million Jake Paul fight, says that he deserved step aside money. I really want to jump in and give you guys my thoughts, but first I'll go over what he said to give him his full, so he can say his piece. Lamont Roach had an interview with Ring Champs. It says, quote, Tank, he's going to go fight Jake Paul and get this money. And I'm not supposed to get anything. He also says that Tank breached his contract. And if he wanted to, he could pretty much sue Tank. And he's putting his company at making him liable, right? He also goes on to say that if the shoe was on the other foot and that was him, he would have took care of the opponent and paid the guy pretty much some step aside money, right? Quote, if I was in his shoes and he was in my shoes, I would call him and say, we're going to take this Jake Paul fight. We're going to give you X, Y, and Z to step aside. We might revisit or we might not revisit. Let's figure this out. I'm getting a big opportunity. Let me see what I can work out. Ain't none of that happened, says Lamont Roach. What on earth is this man talking about? I need to know. If you know, let me know, because I don't know. Now you guys see why I say we are in troubled times in the world of boxing. You got boxers suing. Devin Haney suing. He's suing his BM. He's suing Ryan Garcia at a point in time. Lamont Roach went to court, went to them peoples to try to get the Tank fight reversed into a win because Tank took a knee and people were on his side on Twitter. So he thought the commission was going to overturn the actual result. What the is going on in the world of boxing, bro? Now Lamont Roach is pretty much crying because Tank didn't reach out to him and Jake Paul infiltrated plans of Jake Paul. He came in and then now Tank and Roach aren't fighting and pretty much stole the opponent. So for starters, let me explain to you a little something. People can say whatever they want about Jake Paul, but Jake Paul had the same exact thing happen to him in a bigger fight than whatever Lamont Roach would have been paid to fight Tank in a rematch. Jake had a fight with Canelo that was on the 1 yard line and it was on Netflix before the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight, right? And the same thing kind of happened. The 11th hour, the Saudis came in and they bought Canelo out, said, hey, if you take this fight with Jake Paul, the 3-fight deal that we had talked about previously with all this money, you're not going to get it. We're not doing business with you. So it's Jake Paul, and then you can figure out the rest of your career or work with us. Guess what? Canelo being who he is and, kind of money hungry, he went the Saudi way, and then they added a 4th fight. So he'll likely finish his career fighting with the Saudis, right? Meanwhile, it left Jake Paul with no Netflix opponent, and he had to scramble to try to find something to fill a void caused by Canelo. And he got another Mexican fighter, son of a legend, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., but even that's not the same as Canelo, because it was before Canelo had lost to Crawford and he was a champion. Chavez Jr. has been out of the limelight for a while. But guess what Jake Paul didn't do? He talked about it and exposed Canelo for it. But after that, he kind of just went on about his business and proceeded to just continue with finding his next, what was next for him. He didn't just keep making videos the fight with Tank happened in March. We're closer to March 2026 than we're not. And Lamont Roach is still complaining about it, saying that he should have been given a call and all this knowledge, and he should have been in the loop and paid step aside money. I mean, this is just remarkable stuff that we're seeing. First things first, like I said, it's boxing. It happens. Happened to Jake Paul. He had a bigger fight with Canelo, and Canelo went a different way. You don't hear Jake Paul saying, hey, you did this, you left me hanging, give me money, give me some step aside money because you fought Skull and Crawford and left me in the dust. Guess what? Jake Paul just had to figure it out and got left in the dust, and that was that, period. So that's typically what happens, right? So my thing is this: I don't believe in petty threats. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it, period. And most of the time, I won't even say nothing. I'm just gonna do it, right? So Lamont Roach is doing all these podcasts. He's never received this type of attention before, and it shows. You can immediately tell who has been in the limelight before and who's used to it, right? So he's like posturing like, oh, if I wanted to, I could sue Tank. Oh, if I wanted to, I could drag him into an arbitration. Oh, he's making it a tight spot for his promoter. He should have paid me step aside. And he's doing all this complaining on podcasts, but guess what? Look at it from Tank's perspective. For one, Lamont Roach, since the fight, completely turned heel, and the mask slipped, and he don't even seem cool with Tank anymore. He started dissing Tank. He said Tank hit like a bit, and he definitely been in the ring with people that hit way harder, and kind of like Tank's one-dimensional, and tried to get the fight reversed with the commission, all this stuff. Why would Tank look after you, bruh? Like, come on, let's be real. Why would Tank look after you? Why would Tank be like, oh yeah, that's the guy that I need to give a heads up because I got this $40 million fight with Jake Paul. Let me show him some love and show him some grace. Like, it sounds stupid. I'm going to tell you straight like this. If there's ever a situation with ego, boxing ego, where somebody does me wrong, does me grimy, then just understand it's up. I'm not doing them no favors. I'm not helping them. I'm not giving them advance notice. I'm not breaking bread. I'm not like, if you're like, oh, I need the phone number to this and that, or hey, can you help me with? No, the answer is no. So I don't know where you guys are from, but I play for keeps. And if somebody has my name in their mouth in a negative light constantly and is denigrating my brand or trying to, right, then I'm not out here doing no favors for them. So the absurdity and the entitlement from Lamont Roach and his newfound, quote, fans is absolutely insane, that you would even think that Tank Davis would give you a heads up. And he's like, pay me step aside money. For what? PBC took care of you, gave you another big fight with a recognized name. You were hungry enough to take the deal and move up. You're fighting Pitbull Cruz. There is no step aside money. So you think you're going to get a proper fight from PBC on pay-per-view, an opportunity against a guy like Pitbull Cruz, who has a Mexican fan base and just boxing fans. And on top of that, PBC or Al Heyman or Tank or whoever is supposed to pay you step aside money because the fight faltered. Get real, bro. That don't even make sense. And then he keeps saying that like somebody should pay him step aside money, but Tank didn't do any of these things and he's getting away with it. So why would you try to convince the public that Tank did something wrong or should have done it this way when he did it his way, which you don't agree with, but he's getting away with it? You know what I mean? So unless you're going to like sue him and win and get to court, which you already have a bad track record, you petitioned in the amateurs when you thought you beat him, you failed. You petitioned as a pro when you try to bring up the knee and get the commission to overturn it to a win, you failed. So you don't really have a strong track record of beating Tank, you know, in terms of like legal or courtroom authoritarian proceedings. So what's the point of even trying to flex this angle like you're going to do something and sue him or drag him into an arbitration? You're saying it to flex and try to sound cool. Again, don't talk about it, be about it. If you're going to put him in arbitration, put him in arbitration and get your money. But you know you're not entitled to any money or you're scared that you'll lose. Otherwise, you would have just did that. Because if somebody has my money, I'm just only speaking for me. If I know somebody has my money and I'm owed it, I'm going to get my money. Like, we're going to figure out a way, somehow. And if we have to involve a legal proceeding, I will get my money. I'm very big on principles. I don't want things I didn't work for. I don't want or need things that I didn't earn. But if it's mine, I want every red cent. Not a penny more, not a penny less. So again, this new generation is chopped, super chopped, right? They keep talking about like, that's it. They just keep talking. They keep talking. I feel like the previous generation and my generation, it wasn't about talking. Either fight or don't fight. Sue somebody if that's where you take it, or don't sue them. You dig? Like, there was no preamble and banter and, oh, Tank owes me and I could sue him and take him to arbitration, but I'm not going to because PBC made it right. If they made it right, then you might as well just stop the podcast or do the podcast and not talk about it and just train for your upcoming fight. But to keep taking it back there and doing the cry interviews, talking about how you were wronged and you're owed step aside money, again, if you really think he should pay you step aside money, why don't you go after it legally? And if you're not going to do that, then you got to just chalk it up as he moved on. It's really looking like a scorned ex or something from Lamont Roach, where he keeps talking about Tank many months after the fight, when Tank has an upcoming fight in 4 weeks. He has a fight at the end of the year with Eastside Pitbull Cruz, and your whole focus and direction is talking about Tank, which proves that Boxingego has been right from the beginning. To talk about Tank is big business, and this is the only way they can attract numbers, by mentioning Tank, even if it's in a negative light. Throwing his name in the mix and having a title and having a section of the podcast where you talk about him, even if you're dissing him, is your best opportunity to have people hear you out. It couldn't be me. As a man, I have earned my spot. My spot as a content creator is not indicative of anybody or what anybody got going on. Imagine if I built my whole brand around John Doe boxing, so the only time I could get views and get paid and go viral is if I talk about John Doe boxing. Like I said, it couldn't be me. My boxing, we stand alone and we are freestanding, a well-oiled machine. I don't have to mention anybody. I don't care what others are doing. And I also believe in karma. So even if somebody wronged me, as Lamont Roach feels he's been wronged, you know, you got to rely on the universe and karma to give you that get back. So I don't even worry about stuff like that. I don't have to get voodoo dolls of people who did me bad or whatever. They'll get whatever they got coming to them by living like that, by living foul, by living manny. But hopefully Lamont Roach hears these videos or gets the point and just moves on with his life, moves on with his career. But the more time you just spend talking about Tank and begging for step aside money, I'm telling you, bruh, it looks very bad to us boxing fans because you're asking for step aside money and he's not giving you step aside money. And there's no threat that's going to make him get step aside money. So now you just look desperate. Now you look desperate. You know what I mean? And it's just a bad positioning. And like I keep saying, you could tell who's been here before. Jake Paul, he was probably mad. Canelo stiffed him, left him hanging at the 11th hour. He talked about it, exposed Canelo, spoke his mind. And then he's making money and making business deals. So he just moved on with his life, like whatever. And then now in interviews, he said me and Canelo can still fight, but he's not making Canelo his whole world. He got a whole Tank fight regardless of whatever Canelo's doing in his career, whatever happens. That's how you should do. It also reminds me of Amir Khan. When Amir Khan, he was like virtually stalking Mayweather and a little bit Pacquiao. And he's like, I want a big fight. Oh, I think I could beat Floyd. I could beat Mayweather. Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, he was supposed to fight Devin Alexander before he actually fought him. And then he was so busy trying to lure Floyd into a fight that he didn't even fight him. So I'm just like, you can't make your whole career about another human. That don't make sense to me. Let me know what you guys think. Lamont Roach just needs to move on. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I could provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.